In small-town America, some secrets are buried so deep they're supposed to stay there forever. But what happens when one person refuses to forget? What happens when the smallest voice becomes the loudest truth? What happens when a decade of silence finally breaks? This is the story of Marcus Webb, a backup player who saw everything, a town that told him to stay quiet, and the proof that destroyed them all. This is a fictional story inspired by real events. Names, characters, and locations have been changed. Clearwater, Oklahoma. Population, 6,200. 2 state championships in 5 years. 1 high school. 1 legacy. In Clearwater, football wasn't just a game. It was the only thing that mattered. The town lived and died by Friday nights. Businesses closed early. Churches held prayer circles for the team. The local diner served free breakfast to players every game day. Clearwater High School Titans, blue and silver, undefeated season. This was the year everyone had been waiting for. The year Clearwater would win state. The year the town would finally prove they were the best. And at the center of it all were the stars. Quarterback, Brock Henley. 6'3", 220 pounds, arm like a cannon, ego bigger than the stadium. Running back, Cody Marsh, 5'10", 195 pounds, fastest kid in the county, untouchable on and off the field. Wide receiver, Jake Sullivan, 6'1", 185 pounds, hands like glue, smile like a politician. These 3 weren't just teammates, they were gods. Their fathers owned the biggest businesses in town. Henley Auto Repair, Marsh Construction, Sullivan Real Estate. They controlled the economy. They controlled the school board. They controlled everything. And their sons knew it. Brock, Cody, and Jake did whatever they wanted. Skipped class, broke curfew, partied every weekend. Teachers looked the other way. Coaches made excuses. Parents paid for the damage. Because in Clearwater, winning was everything. And these 3 were winners. But there was someone else on that team. Someone no one noticed. Someone no one cared about. Marcus Webb, Jr., 5'9", 160 pounds, 3rd-string safety, bench warmer, invisible. Marcus wasn't from one of the important families. His father worked at the tire factory on Route 9. His mother cleaned houses. They lived in a small rental on the east side of town, the side without the new developments. The side people drove through without stopping. Marcus made the team because he worked harder than anyone else. He showed up early. He stayed late. He ran every drill twice. But it didn't matter. Coach Daniels barely knew his name. The starters never talked to him. He wore number 34. No one ever called it. Marcus spent every game on the bench, watching, waiting, hoping for a chance that never came. But Marcus saw everything. He saw how the stars treated people. He saw how they talked to girls. He saw how they bullied younger players. He saw things that made him uncomfortable. But he never said anything. Because who would listen to a backup? October 25, 2008, state championship game. Clearwater Titans versus Riverside Panthers, the biggest game in school history. The stadium was packed. Standing room only. News crews from Oklahoma City. Scouts from major colleges. The entire town wearing blue and silver. This was it. This was everything Clearwater had worked for. Marcus was on the bench. Like always. Helmet on. Jersey clean. Never touched the field. First quarter. Clearwater 14, Riverside 7. Brock threw 2 touchdowns. The crowd went insane. Second quarter. Clearwater 21, Riverside 14. Cody ran for 80 yards. Unstoppable halftime. The locker room was electric, players screaming, coaches hyping them up, music blasting. Marcus sat in the corner, quiet, unnoticed. That's when he saw it. Brock, Cody, and Jake in the back corner, away from the coaches, away from everyone else. They were laughing, passing something between them. Marcus couldn't see clearly, but he knew something was wrong. He pulled out his phone, an old flip phone with a camera. He pretended to check messages, but he was recording. He didn't know why. He just felt like he should. The three stars huddled close. Brock pulled out a small plastic bag. White powder. Cody took a hit. Jake followed, then Brock. All three. Right there in the locker room, 10 feet from the coaches. Marcus's hands shook. He kept recording. 30 seconds. That's all he got. Then Coach Daniels blew the whistle. Second half. Let's go. Marcus put his phone away. His heart was racing. He just recorded the three biggest stars in town doing cocaine before the biggest game of their lives. Third quarter, Clearwater 35, Riverside 21. Brock threw 3 more touchdowns. Cody ran for 2. Jake caught everything. They were playing like superhumans. Faster, stronger, unstoppable. The crowd chanted their names. Brock, Cody, Jake. Fourth quarter, Clearwater 49, Riverside 21. Final whistle, Clearwater wins state. The field erupted. Students stormed down. Parents cried. The team lifted the trophy. Brock, Cody, and Jake were carried on shoulders. Camera flashes everywhere, reporters shoving microphones in their faces. Marcus stood on the sideline, holding his helmet. No one noticed him. No one ever did. But he had the video. After the game, there was a party at Brock Henley's house. His parents were out of town, celebrating at a hotel in Oklahoma City. The entire team was invited, even Marcus. Not because anyone wanted him there, but because it was a team party. Marcus almost didn't go, but something told him he should. He arrived at 11 p.m. The party was already out of control. Alcohol everywhere. Music shaking the walls. Girls from school. Girls from other schools. Everyone celebrating. Marcus stayed in the corner, drinking a Coke, watching. Brock, Cody, and Jake were in the center of everything. Drunk, loud, invincible. At midnight, Marcus saw them go upstairs, with 3 girls, freshman girls, 14 years old. Marcus felt sick. He wanted to leave, but he stayed. At 12:30 a.m., one of the girls came downstairs, crying. Her shirt was torn, her makeup smeared. She ran out the front door. No one stopped her. No one even noticed. Except Marcus. He followed her outside. "Hey, are you okay?" The girl didn't answer. She just kept walking. Marcus went back inside. He found the other 2 girls. One was sitting on the bathroom floor, staring at nothing. The other was throwing up in the kitchen sink. Marcus's stomach turned. He knew what happened. He went back upstairs. Brock, Cody, and Jake were in Brock's room, laughing, high-fiving, celebrating. Marcus stood in the doorway. "You guys, those girls." Brock turned around. "What about them? They're freshmen. They're 14. Brock smiled. "They wanted it, man. Relax." Marcus shook his head. "That's not... You can't..." Cody stepped forward. "Can't what? You gonna tell someone?" Marcus didn't answer. Jake laughed. "Who's gonna believe you? You're a bench warmer. You didn't even play tonight." Brock walked up to Marcus, close, threatening. "No one will believe you. You understand? No one." Marcus left the party. He drove home. He didn't sleep. He kept thinking about those girls. He kept thinking about the video. He kept thinking about what he should do. By morning, he'd made a decision. He was going to report it. On Monday, Marcus went to the principal's office. Principal Ed Lawson, 58 years old, former Clearwater Titans player from 1972. Marcus sat across from him. "Mr. Lawson, I need to report something." "Go ahead, Marcus." Marcus told him everything. The cocaine in the locker room, the girls at the party, what Brock, Cody, and Jake did. Principal Lawson listened. His face didn't change. When Marcus finished, Lawson leaned back in his chair. "Marcus, these are serious accusations, I know, but I saw it. I have proof." "Proof?" Marcus pulled out his phone. "I recorded them. In the locker room, before the game." Lawson's eyes narrowed. "You recorded them without their knowledge?" "Yes, but that's illegal, Marcus. You can't record someone without consent. But they were doing drugs. Allegedly. And even if they were, your evidence is inadmissible. Marcus felt his chest tighten. What about the girls? What girls? The freshmen. At the party. They assaulted them. Lawson sighed. Did these girls file a report? I don't know. Then there's nothing I can do. If they want to come forward, they can. But I can't act on hearsay. This isn't hearsay. I was there. You were at an unsupervised party with alcohol and minors. Do you understand how that looks for you? Marcus stared at him. You're not going to do anything. Lawson leaned forward. Marcus, I understand you're upset. But these boys just won us a state championship. They have futures. Scholarships, careers. You're asking me to destroy all of that based on a grainy video and a story about a party. It's the truth. It's your version of the truth. And frankly, no one will believe you. Marcus left the office. He went to the police, Clearwater Police Department. Officer Ron Briggs, 45 years old, played linebacker for the Titans in 1983. Marcus told him everything. Officer Briggs took notes. He watched the video. He nodded. I'll look into it. He never did. Marcus went to the local newspaper, the Clearwater Gazette. Editor, Tom Harlow, 62 years old, covered Titans football for 30 years. Marcus told him everything. Tom listened. Then he said, Kid, I believe you, but I can't print this. Those families will sue me into the ground, and honestly, this town doesn't want to hear it. They just won state. Let them celebrate. Marcus went home. He told his parents. His father looked at him. Son, you need to let this go. Dad, I know. But you're fighting a battle you can't win. Those boys run this town. You don't. Marcus felt alone. At school, word got out. Marcus Webb tried to snitch on the stars. Marcus Webb is jealous. Marcus Webb is a liar. Students stopped talking to him. Teachers avoided eye contact. Coaches cut his playing time. Not that he had any to begin with. Brock, Cody, and Jake walked the halls like kings. They smiled at Marcus. They knew they'd won. By December, Marcus quit the team. He stopped going to games. He stopped wearing school colors. He graduated in 2010. He left Clearwater the day after. He moved to Tulsa. He went to community college. He worked at a warehouse. He tried to forget, but he never deleted the video. 10 years passed. Marcus was 28 years old. He worked as a logistics manager. He had an apartment, a girlfriend, a normal life. But he still thought about that night. He still thought about those girls. He still had the video. One day he saw a news article. Brock Henley arrested for DUI and possession. Marcus read it. Brock had been arrested in Oklahoma City. Cocaine in his car. Blood alcohol level twice the legal limit. But the charges were dropped. Insufficient evidence. Marcus felt the anger return. He kept reading. Cody Marsh sued for sexual harassment at his construction company. Case settled out of court. Jake Sullivan under investigation for fraud in a real estate deal. No charges filed. They were still getting away with everything. Marcus made a decision. He was going to speak out. He posted the video online, YouTube, Facebook, Twitter. He wrote the full story. Everything that happened in 2008. The cocaine, the party, the girls, the cover-up. He tagged the Clearwater Gazette. He tagged the local news. He tagged everyone. Within 24 hours, the video had 50,000 views. Within 48 hours, it was on the news. Within a week, it was national. Clearwater exploded. The town divided. Half believed Marcus. Half called him a liar. Brock, Cody, and Jake hired lawyers. They denied everything. They called the video fake. They called Marcus jealous, bitter, a benchwarmer who never got his moment. But then something happened. One of the girls came forward. Her name was Ashley Brennan. She was 24 now. She'd been 14 that night. She told her story. She confirmed everything Marcus said. Then the second girl came forward. Then the third. The town couldn't ignore it anymore. The state launched an investigation. The school board opened an inquiry. The police reopened the case. Brock, Cody, and Jake were arrested, charged with sexual assault of minors, possession of narcotics. conspiracy to cover up a crime. Their fathers were investigated. Their businesses were audited. Their reputations were destroyed. The 2008 state championship was vacated. The trophy was returned. The banners were taken down. Clearwater's perfect season was erased. Marcus Webb became a hero to some, a traitor to others. He didn't care. He finally told the truth. And the truth finally mattered. This is the cost of silence. This is the price of loyalty. This is what happens when one person refuses to forget. Marcus Webb is not his real name. Clearwater is not a real town. But this story is real. It happens in small towns across America, where stars are protected, where victims are silenced, where backup players are told no one will believe them. But sometimes, the smallest voice becomes the loudest. Sometimes the benchwarmer becomes the hero. Sometimes 10 years later, the truth refuses to stay buried. Because in Clearwater, justice took a decade. But it finally arrived. If you or someone you know has experienced sexual assault, please contact RAIN at 1-800-656-4673. You are not alone. Your voice matters, and the truth will always win. This is Shadows of Small Town America, where we tell the stories no one wants to hear, where we shine light on the darkness, where we remember the voices the towns tried to silence. Subscribe for more dark truths from the heartland, because these stories need to be told, and these voices need to be heard.